Hello, David Petersen here with another Mouse Guard architectural model. This time, it's the Mariner's Bell, a tavern from the town of Lower Port Sumac, seen in the pages of The Black Axe, the third book in the Mouse Guard series. This is the interior version of the Mariner's Bell. I had a small-scale version from the exterior town layout model that I built of Lower Port Sumac. This is the interior where I could access different heights of the building for the shots with Kellinaw and M as they go into this kind of Mos Eisley cantina, wretched hive of scum and villainy, all kinds of mouse pirates and unsavory folk inside. I built the model so that it was modular. The top section comes off from the walls, which also separate from the base, and the staircase is separate as well. I did that because I had already done the June Alley Inn model for Legends of the Guard and realized that with a tavern, it's really handy to have a lot of access from different angles if you want to get your camera in there and take up shots and down shots. Now, it turns out when it came time to do the pages, I didn't really need that many angles for the conversations that happen inside the Mariner's Bell. And so all the modularity didn't really pay off in the end for me. The construction of this model is that it is made of Bristol board with printed parts, as well as cardboard, basswood, and a drinking straw for the center column of the spiral staircase. I was building this model based on that exterior, which was a kit-bashed version of several commercially available paper models for medieval towns and such. So I had to base the proportions and upscale them for this version. Now, when I got this model off the shelf for this video, it started, as always, falling apart as I was dusting it off. That's the problem with these kinds of models. They are not built to last. There are always going to be elements that start to fall apart. The paper parts that are printed designs are glued on. Over years, that starts to dry out and starts to peel off and will just blow away like a dandelion seed into the wind as you're moving or dusting. Every one of the tables inside the tavern pretty much came apart while I was dusting this off. Other parts were impossible to clean without breaking, and the entire thing was impossible to pick up without it falling apart. I couldn't do just this and rotate and show the model. The thing didn't nest properly. So today I did a whole bunch of repairs. I'm going to go through some of those. Some of them are just adding a lot of hot melt glue and some stick reinforcement. You can see some of that on the exterior here, although some of that was there from when I originally made it. With the modularity, one of the first things I did was add a base. The bottom floor was originally just mat board. This time I added a plywood base, and then I glued on a popsicle stick lip. That popsicle stick lip nests the walls so that it sits in perfectly and the whole thing can be picked up at once. And then I knock the roof off. The roof didn't need too much work, just a little bit of hot melt glue to reinforce some things. The other major change that I did were the stairs. Now, the stairs were always a separate element, but they had this thin sheet of like veneer as a square foot to kind of hold it in place. Today, when I was doing my repairs, I thought with that new plywood base, it's not going to be too hard for me to drill in some holes so that I can take that old plywood base off the bottom and attach a magnet to the bottom of the staircase. And then drill a hole with a Forstner bit into the base of the floor and sink two other magnets. And now the staircase goes right on like magic. I get asked frequently why I take the time and effort to build these models, both why I don't do them digitally and why do I do them at all? Aren't you an artist? Just draw it. It is so handy to have reference, to come up with clever angles and shots, where to zoom in, what to crop out, what to pull back from, cutaways, all that kind of stuff. It's super handy to have the reference, especially when doing comics where you do panel after panel after panel of sometimes the same location. It's also handy when months later or years later you need to go back to a location, I can just pull this off the shelf. I do it traditionally instead of in 3D because I have a background in using my hands to do crafts and build things and carpentry, woodworking, that kind of thing. I don't necessarily have the skills for 3D, and I would have to take the time to learn them when I already know how to do this. The other reason is sometimes it's nice to push back from this desk where I spend a lot of time either drawing or inking or coloring or lettering or writing. There's a lot of time sitting at this desk in front of this computer. When I indulge myself to invest in making a model for reference to make those other processes a little easier down the road, it's nice to push away from this desk. I hope you enjoyed this model video. If you want to watch more of them, there's an entire playlist, and I hope you enjoy knowing this model as you're reading The Black Axe.